Anthony is mere moments from catching a body. He about to earn a stripe, about to be a real stepper, certified. Right now, he hiding out in the bushes, Glock in hand. He about to light up the night, turn it day if for a moment. The bushes Anthony is hiding out behind is located in front of a house to the left of the front door. The front door has just opened. Boop, 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 boop. Anthony could feel his heart rate pumping. The man Anthony is targeting is his op. His name is Zane. He goes by Z Paid. Anthony could hear his voice. Zane was telling the young woman he had just smashed his see you laters, his goodbyes. But he has no clue that those were gonna be his last words. Anthony stayed still, careful not to make any noise, careful not to ruffle the bushes. With steady eyes, he maintained contact with his target through the leaves. He is in total stealth mode. This must be what lions feel like when they stalk a wildebeest. Zane's car was parked on the street off the sidewalk in front of the house. There is a catwalk that connects the sidewalk to the front door, but the catwalk is several yards long. This means that Zane has quite a bit of ways to walk before he could reach his car. This is perfect for Anthony. As Zane walked towards his car, the front door of the house closes. When the front door closed, it cut off extra light that was coming from inside the house, which illuminated Zane's path on the catwalk. Good. Less light, all the better for Anthony. He's about to light up the night anyways. He got a Glock with a dick, one in the head, ready to spit. Despite the fact that Anthony's mindset was that of a demon, he was still nervous. This was about to be his first body. It felt like the first day of school. The jitters had Anthony's heart rate racing. Anthony's perception made everything seem to go in slow motion as he stepped from behind the bushes. It took a fraction of a second, but to Anthony it felt like an hour. As Anthony started to run towards Zane, his muscles felt slow and sluggish, all due to nervousness. Anthony needed to get close to improve his accuracy. He needed his bullets to hit on target to shred flesh and take life. In actuality, Anthony had no direct hatred for Zane. He barely knew the nigga. He just had to do what he had to do. As he ran and got closer, it felt like Anthony was running underwater. Everything was still moving in slow motion. Anthony raised up the pistol and pulled the trigger. Zane was walking to his car feeling good. He had just smashed Lil Shouty. The serotonin released in his brain after busting a nut had him feeling euphoric. Zane was sober, but he felt like he was rolling off a bean. To say he was happy in this moment would be all facts. Zane's thoughts were distracted. He let his guard down despite where he was at. This wasn't the first time he had been to see Shouty. Nothing happened last time and he did not anticipate anything to happen this time. And so it was easy for Zane to be distracted. Either way, he had it on him, so he felt safe. He felt comfortable. That's why when Zane heard footsteps running from behind on his right side, his automatic reflex was not to reach for what he was tucking. Big mistake, because what he saw after he turned to face the footsteps was a flash of light and then immediate darkness. In an instant, 30 rounds catapulted from the Glock. Nearly half of them didn't even touch the target, but that didn't matter. In a blaze of fury, the rounds that did hit, destroyed. One round punctured Zane's stomach, exploding the lining and dousing his internals with stomach acid. Another round ricocheted off his sternum bone and bounced around his insides like a pinball machine. A third round entered through the base of his gums, cutting through his nerves, dislodging his teeth from the jaw, and exploding out the back of his neck, leaving a sizable exit wound. When it was all said and done, Zane's body was a chunk of Swiss cheese, holes everywhere. He was dead, standing on 2 feet. Zane's body drops. Anthony takes off running. Anthony's objective now was to get to his own car, which was parked a couple of blocks away. He didn't want to park anywhere near as to alert Zane of his presence, so parking afar was necessary. He needed to cut through a few yards, jump over a few fences to get to his car and make his escape. The front door of the house swings open. The light from inside the house reaches out onto the catwalk and illuminates the results of what just happened. As Anthony runs away, he hears an agonizingly loud screech. The woman from inside the house had ran out onto the catwalk towards Zane's fallen body. She knelt by his side when she reached him. His blood had started to soak her jeans. The young lady's vocal cords would be pushed to its utmost limits as she cried. The gunshots a moment prior had rang loud and alerted the neighborhood, but her tears, her cries, were even louder. Anthony was running as hard and fast as he could run. He could hear the young lady crying off in the distance. It was a sound that was all too familiar. This was not the first time that his sister cried over something that he did. But unlike all the other times, Anthony had never taken things this far. His actions was irreparable. She would never forgive him, he knew it. Anthony had just committed murder, and he knew that she knew that he was responsible. He knew that his sister knew that he was guilty. As Anthony ran, a memory surfaced in his mind. "You know you ain't supposed to be seeing niggas on that side," Anthony had scolded Tamisha. Him and his sister were having an argument. This was during the time that Anthony had found out that Tamisha was secretly dating Zane. She tried to keep it a secret from her older brother, but it was her older brother. He was always nosy, digging in her business. She felt like he'd never let her have anything, and that was her primary argument. But Anthony wasn't having none of that. Zane was part of a rival gang. Zane was CBT, Cinder Block Thugs. Anthony was CSG, Creek Street Gangsters. Anthony was trying to explain to Tamisha that because she was related to him, he was her brother, she automatically, by default, could not fuck with any CBT niggas at all. Tamisha gave no fucks about street politics. Love has no gang affiliation. Tamisha was gonna do what she gon' do, regardless of what Big Brother was telling her. Anthony shrugged off the memory as he ran. Oh well, he thought in response to hearing his sister's tears. You made me do this. Shouldn't have been fucking with him, Anthony thought. He was blaming his sister for his actions. He blamed her for causing him to murder someone. And besides, the nigga knew where he was. He ain't had no business in my hood, Anthony rationalized as he jumped the first fence. Zane, whose rap name was Z Paid, had just started to live up to his name. At the tender age of 19, Zane had just signed his first record deal. It was worth $1 million. His advance was $150,000. And the first thing Zane did was not buy himself a new chain, new car, fancy clothes, or his parents a house. Nah, he didn't do what rappers would typically do when they first check clears. The first thing that Zane did when he cleared his first bag was buy his woman, Tamisha, a promise ring. Zane was a lover boy. He was a hopeless romantic. Some would argue and call him a simp. Despite only being 19, Zane's heart was ravished by heartbreak. His first crush in junior high school dated 3 other guys, with Zane being the last to find out. As a freshman in high school, Zane thought he was up. He thought he was winning. He dated a senior who had ran through the entire football team while they were dating, and Zane was the last to find out. Again. By sophomore year, 4 out of the 5 girlfriends that Zane had were privately slobbering knobs and publicly kissing him, and Zane didn't find out towards the end. And the remaining 30 other relationships that Zane tried ended in deceit and toxicity. Zane's frustration with finding an intimate companion was expressed in his music. He had ample material to write heartbreaking lyrics to songs. Forever in his feelings, he only made love songs. Those listening would empathize with him. And that is precisely why his music resonated so deeply with so many women, but mainly the women who experienced the feeling of being the victim in the relationships, the ones who were always cheated on, the ones who felt violated. When Tamisha and Zane met for the first time, they connected instantly. The two had so much in common. Both were trying to heal the wounds of love. She too had made countless attempts in her past relationships. Zane and Tamisha appeared to have been made for each other. They fit like a puzzle piece. In a short time, they fell in love. Their passion for one another burned more intensely than a noon sun in the middle of a desert. It was too good to be true. Two lovebirds finally connected. They thought nothing would ever separate them. Nothing would ever get between the two. Until they both realized Tamisha was Juliet, Zane was Romeo. They were living the classic Romeo and Juliet story. Tamisha's older brother, Anthony, a Creek Street gangster CSG, was all too eager to put in work for his gang for his set. Anthony did not approve of Tamisha's relationship with Zane. Zane was CBT, cinder block thug. He had no choice in the matter. He was that by default. Being the youngest brother of the head honcho top dog of that gang came with a lot of smoke. It was impossible to stay neutral. His older brother kept him out the streets, kept him out of trouble. But again, Zane had to bang just off of who he was related to. It was more apparent once Zane started to do shows, started to travel, started to perform on stage in front of live audiences. Not wanting niggas to try Zane, CBT was always in the crowd, always ready to step. Not to mention they were proud of the little homie. Zane was bringing a bag to the gang. He was a primary bag winner. They all ate off of him. Zane made sure to break bread out of loyalty. They were family. Zane's music was always neutral. He did not engage in dissing the dead. He ain't send no subliminal shots. He ain't even mention any ops. His music was for the ladies. Pure love songs. The boy was as innocent as a baby, as loving as a mother. Zane was full of potential. His career was laid out on a launch pad and he was about to take off like a rocket with his woman at his side. Zane's rocket would never take off, but his woman stayed by his side as he laid lifeless. At present, Tamisha was delirious. This had to be a dream. No way that her boo was gone. No way that her boo was dead. No, this wasn't a dream. This was a nightmare, and she needed to wake up, but that would never happen. Tamisha's vision was blurry. The tears welted up in her eyes, distorted her sight, but she pointed her finger with total accuracy. Tamisha had pointed in response to the two police officers on scene who had asked her, "Where did he go?" The two police officers were in their police cruiser, riding through the neighborhood on patrol when they heard the gunshots. They were on scene in an instant. There were no vehicles on the road, so the two officers knew that whoever shot those shots was still on foot. They needed to act fast. Anthony only had a 2-minute head start, not nearly enough time to make it to his car and make an escape. If it was anyone other than his sister, he probably would have gotten away. But Tamisha had no hesitation in her heart when she pointed the officers in his direction. Anthony was held without bond when he found out that his sister was gunned down. Word on the street was that Tamisha set up Zane to get clapped. CBT had wasted no time to retaliate. CSG would then respond in kind. The war would escalate, but the only two victims were innocent lovers.